Today, we're ranking the 25 best-selling rye whiskeys in the US.
And we're ranking them using a tier system from 0 to 100.
From S tier, our gold standard, down to F tier, which basically means chuck this sucker in the trash bin.
Whether you're a bourbon drinker dabbling in rye or a hardcore rye fan, we'll tell you exactly which bottles are worth your money.
And if you like what you see, please consider supporting our channel by purchasing one of our whiskey-inspired t-shirts. From movie parodies to patriotic tees, we've got something for every whiskey lover. We also have shirts with our official logo to tell the world you're part of this amazing whiskey community. The shirts are soft, stretchy, fit great, and we think you're gonna love them. Links are in the description below.
Rye whiskey has come a long way since it nearly vanished from shelves in the late 20th century. Craft distillers, bourbon drinkers looking for something spicier, and even cocktail bars have all helped bring rye back into the spotlight.
And with so many options out there now, it's tough to know which bottles actually deliver, especially when bestseller doesn't always mean best tasting.
You ready to get into it?
Oh, I can't wait. I have been waiting all day to do this.
Kicking things off at number 25, we've got Woodinville's Straight Rye. Now, this is one of those bottles that gets a ton of love from craft whiskey fans, and for good reason. It's got this dry herbal backbone with the classic rye spice. It's got a bit of mint, a little bit of toasted oak in there too. But for me, it's a little too dry and earthy. I respect the quality, hands down, but I'm not always in the mood for it. I'm gonna give it an 81.
I actually really like what you're doing over there in Washington. You could taste the grain, the wood, the craftsmanship. When you drink Woodinville, you may or may not like it, but at the very least, you're gonna agree that the flavors are unique. This one leans almost savory at times, and I think newer rye drinkers might not find it appealing, but for me, the unique flavors really make this one stand out. I'm gonna go 84. So with your 81 and my 84, Woodinville Straight Rye gets us started in the B tier with an 83. Number 24 is Old Forester 100 Rye. This might be one of the best values in all of whiskey. Not just rye. For under 25 bucks, you're getting a 100 proof bottle that brings a ton of flavor for the price. It's spicy, bold, and I get notes of cinnamon, pepper, and citrus. Some like it neat, but it drinks too hot for my taste. I was debating this one, but ultimately putting value aside, I'm gonna give this one a 78. Yep.
So no bump in value and
no bump in the trunk this time.
Yeah, this one's tough to place. It's priced and positioned like a cocktail rye, but honestly, there's enough depth to drink it straight. I get baking spice and sort of a dry herbal finish. It's solid. I went back and forth between this one, between a low B and a high C, but ultimately I gave it a low B with an 80. So with my 80 and your 78, Old Forester 100 Rye gets a 79, high C tier. Up next at number 23, we've got Rabbit Hole Boxer Grail Rye. So Rabbit Hole has always been about style and branding, and Boxer Grail definitely looks the part. It's a 95.5 rye, heavy on the spice, with mint, dill, and citrus peel leading the way. The oak is a little light for me, and it finishes fast. I think it's decent, but doesn't justify the price tag, so I'm gonna give it a 78.
I'm a big Rabbit Hole fan. Their rye is probably my least favorite of the flagship offerings, but I still think it's pretty good. I agree, it's heavy on the spice and the price is higher than it should be, but that's Rabbit Hole's game. The brand isn't cheap. I'd rather drink this than Old Forester 100, so I am gonna go with an 80. Well, with your 78 and my 80, it looks like we have a back-to-back C tier 79 for Rabbit Hole Boxer Grail.
Oh, we flipped the script on that one, huh?
I think we did. The conclusion was the same, but the way we got there was a little different.
Yeah.
Number 22 best-selling rye whiskey is Russell's Reserve 6-year. Wild Turkey comes out with some great stuff from the Russell's lineup, and in my opinion, this 6-year rye is no different. At 90 proof, it doesn't pop like some of the other ryes in this range, but for those that like the taste of rye without too much heat, like I do, I think that this is a great little pour. Maybe a little too gentle, but good enough to get an 84 for me.
Yeah, this one's easy drinking, and maybe it's too safe. It's got the Wild Turkey DNA, but this one doesn't have the same boldness or complexity of, say, a Rare Breed rye or even the Wild Turkey 101 rye. That said, it is super approachable, and if someone was rye curious and didn't want to get overwhelmed, this wouldn't be a bad intro. 80 from me. With your 84 and my 80, Russell's Reserve 6-year gets an 82, earning it a lowish B tier. Up next at number 21, we've got Knob Creek 7-year rye. Now this is how you step up a rye. The age statement here helps a ton. 7 years gives it depth, oak influence, and a little leather on the nose. There's still that classic beam nuttiness underneath all that rye spice, but it works. For 100 proof, it drinks bold without burning, and it holds up neat or in cocktails. I gotta go with an 86 here.
I totally agree. This one is one of the most well-rounded ryes for under $30. It's warm, toasty, peppery, and it has that thick texture that makes you want to go back for another sip. Oh, Ryan, I'm all worked up. I want another sip right now.
I thought you were about to do some weird things to that whiskey there.
It probably was. I'm glad you're here to stop me.
Yeah.
I think the 7-year age statement really puts it over the top. And like many of the Knob Creek offerings, this one flies under the radar. But it shouldn't. I am gonna give this sucker an 87. With my 87 and your 86, it averages out to an 87 B tier for Knob Creek 7 Rye. Number 20 on our list is Elijah Craig Straight Rye. Elijah Craig's rye feels like a bourbon drinker's rye, and that makes sense given the low rye content. It's soft, sweet, and it leans more toward caramel and toasted oak than it does spice. It's super easy to drink, but if you're looking for bold rye character, this probably isn't it. And if you're looking for a step up, try the Elijah Craig Toasted Rye. But for the straight rye, I'm gonna give it an 82.
Yeah, I always describe this one as a gateway rye. It's mellow, it's buttery, and it has that familiar Heaven Hill profile. This one is great for someone easing out of bourbon, but rye lovers might find it too safe. Still, for around 30 bucks, you could do way worse. And guess what? I too gave it an 82.
Yes!
With both of our 82s, we are in sync for the first time today. B tier for Elijah Craig Straight Rye.
We are in sync.
Up next at number 19, we've got Wild Turkey Rare Breed Rye. Rare Breed Rye is like if Wild Turkey 101 Rye hit the gym and came back shredded. This thing is bold, it's oily, packed with flavor. You get this incredible burst of cinnamon, clove, orange zest, and a deep oak backbone. This thing is full throttle, but somehow still balanced. 92 all the way.
Absolutely. It is intense, but not a slap in the face like some other ryes. It shows off what barrel-proof rye can do when it's done right. Like the Rare Breed bourbon, this stuff is great, and I think it's a whiskey drinker's go-to. And for $65, it's honestly a steal compared to some of the other barrel-proof stuff out there. And you know what, Ryan? For the first time ever, we're gonna be in sync back to back because this sucker gets a 92 from me as well. So not only do we have our first back-to-back NSYNC bottle, but we have our first A tier today with a 92 for Wild Turkey Rare Breed Rye. Isn't that incredible?
I'll drink to that.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.
It's like we are two bodies and one soul. Number 18 on our list is George Dickel Rye. This was a bit of a curveball. It's a classic 95.5 MGP rye, but it's charcoal mellowed the Tennessee way. So the spice gets smoothed out just a little bit. And as someone who likes my rye particularly less fiery, I can appreciate that. It's peppery, citrusy, a little minty, but it has a short finish. It's not the most standout bottle for me, and it drinks like a mixer more than anything else, so I will give Dickel a 73.
I mean, it's serviceable, but doesn't do anything exciting. That charcoal mellowing you were talking about, it takes some of the edge off, which might be great for new rye drinkers, but it waters down the personality a bit. This one is a mixer more than a sipper in my book as well, and it's also chill filtered for those of you who care about that kind of thing. I gave this one a 70. I gave it a 70, you gave it a 73. 72 C tier for Mr. George Dickel Rye. Next up at number 17, we've got another one from the Wild Turkey lineup, the Wild Turkey 101 Rye. Now this one is gonna be one of the most dependable ryes out there, period. 101 proof, budget friendly, and it brings that signature Wild Turkey spice. You're gonna get cinnamon, brown sugar, a little black pepper, and this nice toasted barrel note that shows up mid-palate. It's not flashy, but it's a workhorse, and it delivers every time. I gave this one an 85.
The Wild Turkey brand is coming in strong in this tier list. And look, I agree. It's bold, balanced, and honestly, it's the bottle that I would recommend anybody who's looking to get into rye without spending a ton of money. Plus, with only 51% rye in its mash bill, it doesn't lose a ton of that typical Wild Turkey flavor. It has the quintessential flavors of a rye that you would want in a cocktail like an old fashioned, but it's good enough to sip neat. It's not easy to find that type of versatility in a $25 bottle. And for that, Wild Turkey 101 Rye gets a 90 from me. Ryan, with your 85 and with my 90, it averages out to an 88. High B tier for Wild Turkey 101 Rye. Number 16 best-selling rye whiskey in the United States is High West Rendezvous Rye. Rendezvous used to be a heavy hitter when it was sourced by MGP and Barton, but now that it's a blend of MGP and their own distillate, things have changed slightly. It's still good with flavors of rich baking spices and dried herbs and honey and a hint of stone fruit. But the profile isn't as bold as it used to be. It feels like a softer, more nuanced version of what it once was, so I will give Rendezvous an 84.
Yeah, it's funny, I actually liked the older batches better, and it leans more elegant than aggressive. The texture is thinner than I would like from a $60 bottle, but flavor-wise, it's not bad. I just wish they'd up the proof, give us more punch. 77 for me.
Oof. You kicked it right in the nuts.
Right in the nuts.
Oh, poor Rendezvous.
With my 77 and your 84, you brought this one up into the B tier. 81 for High West Rendezvous.
Thank goodness, because High West Rendezvous belongs in the B tier, Mr. Ryan. Let me tell you that.
Does it?
And you in the comments section below, you let us know what you think.
We got another High West one coming up, so let's debate. Number 15 is Pikesville Straight Rye. This one is a bruiser in disguise. At 110 proof, it brings the heat, but it's surprisingly refined. You get warm cinnamon, dark chocolate, burnt sugar, and this dry oak finish that just lingers. It's got a bourbon-like richness while still showing off the rye edge. This one is criminally underrated in my opinion. I'm going with a 90 for this one.
This is one of the most slept on bottles in Heaven Hill's entire lineup. Big proof, great mouthfeel, and a ton of complexity.
Yes.
It's not the most rye-forward bottle, but what it lacks in spice, it makes up for in depth. I like this rye a lot, and I'm gonna give it a 91. With my 91 and your 90, we've got another A tier with 91 for Pikesville Straight Rye. Number 14, best-selling rye whiskey in the United States is Sagamore Spirit Double Oak Rye. Now, if you know Ryan, you would know that this is his jam, and understandably so. This is everything that I love about finished rye. It's bold, it's sweet, it's spicy and ridiculously smooth. The double oak treatment gives it this deep caramel and toasted marshmallow and vanilla custard sort of flavor, while the rye still brings this cinnamon pop underneath. It's dessert without losing its complexity. I love this thing, and I am giving this little gift from the gods a 96. My first S tier on this entire list.
Oh, that makes me happy. This thing is one of the most luxurious ryes at this price point, which is about $60. And it's one of my personal favorite bottles. It's got a rich, thick texture, perfectly integrated oak, and just enough spice to remind you it's still a rye. Honestly, I would take this bottle over bottles twice the price. It drinks way above its weight class. Definite S tier for me at 97. With your 96 and my 97, Sagamore Spirits Double Oaked Rye gets our first S tier with a 97. At number 13 on our list, we've got Templeton Straight Rye. Templeton's 4-year straight rye is a big step up from their older releases. It's still sourced MGP with that 95.5 mash bill, but now it's a legit straight rye at 90 proof, no added flavoring. You're gonna get citrus, rye spice, a little bit of caramel, nothing mind-blowing, but it's clean and approachable. 75 for me.
Yeah, it's definitely more respectable now. It's soft on the nose, has the familiar dill and mint from MGP, and just enough oak to give it a little complexity. But it still doesn't compete with some of the more layered ryes on this list, and it's pretty damn light on the flavor for a rye. So for me, I'm gonna give Templeton 4-year a 75. So once again, Ryan, we are in sync with a 75 C tier for Templeton 4-year straight rye. Number 12 on our list is Whistle Pig Piggyback 6-year rye. I credit Whistle Pig for single-handedly bringing up rye from obscurity and into a popular whiskey category. And Piggyback should be a slam dunk. 100% rye, 6 years old, nearly 100 proof, but it's way too expensive for the flavors you get. It's got the spice and citrus you'd expect, but the finish is short and it doesn't have that richness that I want at this price point. This is gonna be controversial, but that's what I do. And I will give the Piggyback a 77.
Yeah, this one hits all the right stats on paper, but it just doesn't wow me. It's a little sharp, a little thin, and while it holds up in cocktails, it's not something I'm reaching for neat. For 45 bucks, there are better ryes on this list that deliver more character. I actually went lower than you, 75 from me.
Wow, we're gonna hear it in the comments section below.
Well, with our combined scores of 77 and 75, we're looking at a 76 C tier for Whistle Pig Piggyback 6-year rye.
I give credit where credit is due, and I think that Whistle Pig deserves a ton of credit for bringing rye back up to existence. However, their stuff, honestly, to me, is not the greatest for the price you're paying.
Right.
I'm just gonna put it out there.
At number 11 on our list, we've got Old Overholt 4-year rye. Old Overholt's 4-year straight rye has a backbone you don't always get in a $20 bottle. At 86 proof, it's still gentle. The age brings some maturity, along with warm spice, dark fruit, and a bit more oak presence. It's still light, but it drinks like it costs more than it does. I'm gonna give this guy a 78.
All right. This is where the NSYNC train officially disbands and it just goes off the rails.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I'm so upset.
Did I crash the train?
You crashed the train and now it exploded into oblivion. We'll see if we could ever pick up the pieces.
Oh, man.
See, I love its history. It's not only one of the first bonded whiskeys, but Old Overholt is the oldest running rye whiskey producing distillery in the US. At $20, this is the most bang for your buck whiskey you're ever gonna get. I've included this sucker in blind tastings, and the majority of the people actually enjoy it more than some of the bottles in the $100 range. This quintessential $20 rye gets an 87 from me.
Oh, damn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we were way off on this one.
Yeah, you are nuts. With our scores of 87 and the dreaded 78, I am proud to give Old Overholt 4-year an 83, B tier, where it belongs at the very least.
Okay.
Yep,
All right.
that's what I'm gonna say. I'm sticking to it. Our number 10 best-selling rye whiskey in the US is Woodford Reserve Rye. This is another low rye coming in at 53% rye, making it more typical to the Woodford Reserve Bourbon, but with a little bit of a spicy touch. You get honey, cinnamon, toasted oak, and a little rye tingle on the finish. It's smooth, it's well made, and honestly, I think that this is a great rye for people who usually don't like rye. That being said, it's pretty forgettable, and I will use it more as a mixer than to sit neat. A slightly generous 80 from me.
Yeah, this one almost drinks like a bourbon in disguise. The mash bill is just barely rye enough to qualify, but it makes the whiskey really approachable. It's soft, slightly sweet, definitely not bold enough for hardcore rye fans, but it's a decent crossover bottle. If you're gonna go with Woodford, I would stick with their bourbon or double oaked bourbon. I'm gonna give this one a 78. Eddie, we're working our way to get back on that train.
Okay, I like that.
Okay.
I like that we're working our way there.
Yeah, we're getting close, because with your 80 and my 78, Woodford Reserve Rye lands squarely in the C tier with a 79. At number 9, we've got Willett Family Estate 4-year rye. Now this bottle is a firecracker. Willett's 4-year rye is youthful, but it's wildly flavorful. You're gonna get big waves of cinnamon, clove, pine, and mint. It's herbal, it's bold, and it refuses to be boring. It's definitely not a starter rye at $75, but if you're into big flavor and barrel proof intensity, this one brings it. I'm gonna give this bottle a 90.
I love Willett 4-year. It's got this earthy funk, tons of spice, and a chewy texture that's super satisfying if you're into big, bold flavor. It's not the smoothest pour at 115 proof, but it's bursting with character. Feels like something that you'd pour for whiskey nerds like us. 94 from me.
Oh, look at that.
With my score of 94 and yours of 90, Willett Family Estate 4-year rye is gonna end up in the A tier with a solid 92. Number 8 on our list is High West Double Rye. Double Rye has always been one of the most versatile bottles on the shelf. It's minty, it's herbal, and packs some punch. Compared to the Rendezvous, this one brings a little bit more bite, but a shorter finish. It's great in cocktails, but I like sipping it neat too. There's more character there than you'd expect for the price. 80 for me.
All right, we told you we had another High West on the list, and this one is kind of the feisty, younger sibling to the Rendezvous. It's a little less polished, more punchy, but you know what? I enjoy it more. You get green apple, an interesting juniper note, rye spice, and just enough sweetness to keep it grounded. It's also a killer value at $30. I actually reached for this High West more than the other one. 85 for me. Well, with your score of 80 and mine of 85, High West Double Rye comes in at 83, B tier. At number 7 on our list of best-selling ryes is Michter's US 1 Rye. Michter's is one of the most refined pours in the $45 price range. You get a little spice, rich vanilla, orange peel, and a silky feel that makes it feel way more expensive than it is. It's one of those bottles that grows on you the more you sip it. I'm gonna go with an 89 here.
Michter's tends to make whiskey with finesse, and this rye is no exception. It's not bold or flashy, but it's beautifully balanced and it leans sweeter than most, which my palate loves. And it's super easy to sip. It's also a good food pairing rye, and it goes incredibly well with lamb chops, dark chocolate, or Gouda cheese. And as a nerd who likes to pair my whiskey with food, I can appreciate that. So this bottle gets a 92 from me. With your score of 89 and my score of a 92, I am bringing this sucker up into the A tier with a 91 for Michter's US1 Rye. Number 6 on the list is Rittenhouse Rye. This popular bottle is beloved by bartenders and whiskey lovers on a budget. It's bottled in bond and under $30, making it a huge bargain. And it also has caramel tasting notes that are familiar to bourbon drinkers. In terms of taste to value though, I think Old Overholt actually has this one beat by a wide margin. Rittenhouse has a quick finish and is fairly one-dimensional for my liking. I am giving it a 75.
You know, I'm actually glad you went this route because I think this one might end up being a little bit controversial. I know this one is considered to be a classic. It's bottled in bond, it's a good price and all that, but I've always found it a little overrated.
Now you're being allowed back into the train.
Thank you. It just doesn't have the same depth that some of the other value ryes bring to the table. I think people want it to be better than it really is. I'm gonna give this one a 68.
Wow.
Oh my God!
Like I said, this one might be controversial because I know people love this one, but with my 68 and your 75, we landed at 72, another rye in the C tier, Rittenhouse Rye. Number 5 is Basil Hayden's Dark Rye. Now this bottle is called rye, but it drinks like a pre-mixed cocktail. It's a blend of Kentucky and Canadian rye, finished with port wine, and honestly, the port completely dominates. Is it soft, sweet, and approachable? Sure. But if you're looking for a real rye experience, this ain't it. Maybe save this one for the wine drinkers in your crowd. I'm going with a 58 here.
Okay, hear me out.
Oh no.
Yes, it's closer to a dessert cordial than it is a whiskey. Yes, there is no bite and practically zero spice. Yes, it tastes like flavored whiskey with a sweet wine-like finish. But I actually like this sucker.
Oh no.
Yes, at 80 proof, I can drink it daily, which I cannot say for many ryes out there on the market today. And if you're getting into whiskey in general, this is a good gateway pour to see if you're getting ready for something heavier. I don't hate on it, and I will, in fact, give Dark Rye a very well-deserved and pleasurable 69. With our scores of 58 and 69, Basil Hayden Dark Rye takes the first spot on the D tier today with a 64. The number 4 best-selling rye whiskey in the US is Sazerac 6-Year Rye. Sazerac Rye has built a cult following, and for good reason. It's smooth, well-balanced, and brings just enough spice to keep things interesting. Cinnamon, clove, a touch of vanilla, and this soft spearmint note that makes it super easy to sip. It's not flashy, but it's consistent. And for under $30, this is another quintessential rye. I'd consider this the Buffalo Trace of rye whiskeys, which is appropriate since it is produced at the Buffalo Trace Distillery. 90 for me.
Yeah, this is like that gateway rye that overachieves. It's mellow, sweet on the front, spicy on the back, and it plays well in literally any situation. Cocktails, neat, over ice. When you can grab it at retail, it's one of the best bangs for your buck. Easy 90 for me as well. And just like that, we went from D tier to A tier, and we're back in sync.
Yes! It took a little bit of time, but we're finally there.
Yeah, so with our scores of 90, Sazerac 6-Year Rye finds itself hanging out in the A tier. Now for our top 3 best-selling ryes. Any guesses what they are? Number 3, we've got Angel's Envy Rye. Now Angel's Envy Rye is pure indulgence. It's finished in Caribbean rum casks, and it's like dessert in a Glencairn. You're gonna get brown sugar, maple syrup, cinnamon rolls, and just enough rye spice to make you aware it's there. It's rich, sticky, sweet, just like me at the beach.
I don't know how I feel about that.
When you're in the mood for a decadent pour, this absolutely hits. 94 for me.
This is one of those bottles that is just enjoyable. Whether you are in a good mood or in a bad mood, you pour this sucker in a glass and you sip and you enjoy. It's not trying to be a classic rye, it's trying to be delicious, and it succeeds. I wouldn't call it sticky, but it's sweet, luxurious, and dangerously easy to drink at 100 proof. If you're a purist, you'll probably disagree with me, but if you like flavor bombs, this one delivers. I am giving it a 94 as well. Ryan, we are like sugar and spice. Sometimes we work in perfect harmony, and other times we clash like a sumbitch. This time, fortunately for you, we are in perfect harmony.
For me?
Yeah, just for you.
Oh.
High A tier for Angel's Envy Rye with a 94. We are getting closer and closer to that #1 spot, Ryan. Number 2 on our list of best-selling ryes in the US is Redemption Rye. Redemption Rye is a classic MGP through and through. Herbal, spicy, and minty with a little citrus and a little dill. For under $30, it's a great introduction to the 95.5 flavor profile, especially if you want that old school dry rye bite. It's not my favorite on the list, but I appreciate the classic profile. I will give it an 82.
Yeah, this one's got that signature MGP rye DNA, grassy, zesty, and a little sharp. It's not the most complex bottle, but for the price, it's hard to complain. This one is great in cocktails and definitely works as a daily sipper if you're into more herbal, dry leaning ryes. I gave this one an 80. So with your 82 and my 80, we've got 81 low B tier for Redemption Rye.
Yeah, this tier list is looking like a sideways middle finger.
So coming in, finally, the #1 best-selling rye whiskey in the United States, Bulleit Rye. Bulleit Rye might not be flashy, but it's a staple for a reason. It's got that classic MGP rye profile that we keep talking about. Think green apple, dill, black pepper, and a little bit of citrus peel. It's insanely consistent. You'll find it on just about every back bar in America, and it always gets the job done. It's simple, it's clean, it's reliable, and it's my favorite rye to use in cocktails. So I'm gonna give this one an 85.
Yeah, it's the definition of accessible rye. Whether you're mixing, sipping, or introducing someone to the category, Bulleit Rye delivers. It's not gonna blow your mind, but it is always solid. And for under $25, it holds up surprisingly well. A perfect ambassador for American rye, 83 for me. My 83 and your 85, Ryan, gives us a solid and respectable 84 B tier for the best-selling rye whiskey in the US, Bulleit Rye.
So there you have it, 25 of the best-selling rye whiskeys in the US, ranked from leave it on the shelf to the gold standard. What do you think of our list? Did we nail it? Did we completely butcher your favorite bottle? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We read every single one.
If you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Let them know that we are building a whiskey community of like-minded people looking for a good time.
If you're into tier lists like this one, check out our rankings of Buffalo Trace products, Irish whiskeys, single malt scotches, and more. They'll be on your screen right now. Until next time, cheers.